Hi, this is Al Kenna. Welcome back to my channel. And we had some interesting news about our favorite subjects here. Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon, who were euthanized back in November before the elections. And we just got word from the good folks at Judicial Watch. Apparently, they're suing the state of New York for the records, the deceased friends of ours here, and it's just another black eye for the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. Oh, everything's fine, nothing to worry about. Oh, uh, a lady got burned on the subway by an illegal alien. Oh, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about doing my selfie on the way to Queens Center Mall to buy some stuff on the subway with my armed security. Really. Well, let's get into this, and I'll put my 2 cents into this as well. Even though it was released on March 14th, we got it like an hour ago, and it came in my feed. It says Judicial Watch sues New York State for records on the controversial killing of Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. We're not making this up. And someone was laughing about it, but that's all right. Washington, D.C. Judicial Watch announced today it had filed a Freedom of Information Law suit, FOIL, against the New York State Department of Environmental Conservative for records about the seizure, testing, and the euthanization of a squirrel named Peanut and a raccoon named Fred belonging to the Pine City, New York resident Mar-a-Lago. This is Judicial Watch versus Sean Myers, Internal Commissioner, New York State Department of Environmental Conservative. It might be part of the case, so we'll see what happens. So, Judicial Watch filed a suit in the Supreme Court in the state of New York, Albany County, after the Department of Environmental Conservative failed to comply with 2 FOIA requests for the written and video records related to Peanut and Fred, the first filed on November 6, 2024. Not right after the election? Gee, I wonder why. Oh, yeah. My son's watching a video, and it's hilarious over there. New York State Department of Environmental Conservative, or NYSDEC. Why do these alphabet agencies always have so many letters? I think that's the one with the huge pothole and a car and a motorcycle sunk in and car bounced back, but not the motorcyclist. Well, anyway, records related to the seizure, testing, and utilization of animals, including the squirrel named Peanut and a raccoon named Fred, belong to a Pine City, New York resident named Mark Lango. Yeah, he was from New York City one time. On or about October 30 to November 1st, 2024, such records should include, but not be limited to, complaints filed with NYSDEC, internal NYSDEC communications, including emails and text messages, communications between NYSDEC and Sherman County Department of Health, investigation reports, incident reports, and laboratory reports. A second filed on November 6, 2024, seeks that all body-worn cameras, audio and video footage, and dash cam audio video footage captured by New York State Department of Environmental Conservative, again, NYSDEC, SDEC, and its partner agencies related to the seizure, testing, and euthanization of animals, including a squirrel named Peanut and a raccoon named Fred, belonged to Pine City, New York resident Mark Lango on or October 30th to November 1st, 2024. Pine City. Okay, it is Pine City. But they repeat this over and over again because that's what's on the papers. There's two sets of papers. Since November, the New York State agency granted itself two 30-day extensions. December, January. And then a 60-day extension to respond to Judicial Watch request. So January, February. Now it's going to be April. Why is it taking so long to answer? Or is it they don't want to answer? And they're delaying tactics. 10 government agents from the State Department of Environmental Conservation and Health reportedly showed up at the Lungo's home where he operated an animal sanctuary and took his squirrel and raccoon, later euthanized them. They were treating me like a terrorist. They treated this raid like if I was a drug dealer. They ransacked my house for 5 hours, Angle told the New York Post. That Peanut the squirrel, also known as Peanut, was popular on social media. The event sparked public outrage, and that was before the election. We're not sure if this may have turned the tide on November 5th, but you had all of a sudden all these memes with both Peanut and Fred with MAGA hats and all that stuff, and then you had some nitwit from the Washington Post saying, oh, they deserve to get killed for being MAGA. We don't know if the Gangles are Republican or Democrats, and you're assuming. Well, I'm not surprised. After all, you are torching Teslas right now for no good reason. So I'm not surprised that you want to be torching a squirrel and a raccoon for no good reason either. Yeah, they did. The heartless killing of Peanut the squirrel by New York State bureaucrats shocked America, Judicial Watch President Tom Fulton said. And now these same bureaucrats don't want to turn over one document about Peanut's death and their abuses raid on Peanut's home. Don't forget Fred. Judicial Watch lawsuit aims to get to the bottom of this abuse of government power. Judicial Watch is being assisted by attorney Ethan Leonard of Law Office of Neil Brickman, PC. And that's about it. But as you know, this takeover caused a lot of controversy, and we still didn't get an answer from this agency. We didn't even get an answer from Kathy Hochul, the governor of the state of New York. I mean, it's not surprising. Look at what's happening since. You know, they had the congestion pricing, and you had the NTA chairman saying, oh, the crime in the New York City subway is all in your head. And this keeps saying how great, how safe the subway is. And then you had a lady set on fire by an illegal alien. And the governor is deciding to take the subway that day, have a nice selfie, going to Queen Center Mall for some shopping. Of course, she had on security. Passengers and employees in the New York State Transit don't come around with on security, do we? No. And then, it was a controversy because it was not only because of the seizure of Peanut and Fred, but also because they were asking questions like, do you have cameras around the place? They wanted the cameras off. They were asking the immigration status of Miss Larango. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. But you don't ask for the immigration status of people crossing the border at the time, did you? No. And then they claim that Peanut bit one of them. Well, if you were being taken against your will, you don't think you would be fighting? I don't blame Peanut for biting the person if he did. Jeez. But the thing was, the worst part was, they already planned to euthanize both of them anyway, whether Peanut bit the person or not. They said that's the only way to test for rabies. But there's other ways to be testing for rabies. They weren't interested in that. They were just interested in getting them out of there, euthanize them, testing them, and saying, aha, screw you, we don't care, ha ha. And they, when they were ransacking, they took personal property from orangutans too. So it was a very controversial situation. It pissed off a lot of people. And like I said, the internet exploded. You had memes about Fred and Peanut. It was overwhelming. I said maybe that affected the election. Because, Kathy Hochul was acting like an imbecile. Didn't respond to this situation. They didn't respond either, the agencies. They didn't care. So, it's not my strong argument, but the fact is that's the facts. You can look it up on Gork on X, or you can look it up on Google, and the story will pop up and say, yeah, this is what happened. Because I try to remember everything that was said or done during that time period. And I had done a couple of videos, criticizing the government for doing this. I used to be a trans employee, and we got screwed badly by the state of New York. Of course, that is until the 3-week strike by the corrections officers. They got it worse than we did. So, saying New York is poo-poo. And Judicial Watch, please keep us informed, because this is a very important case to us. Because if we can use this case to kick the Wicked Witch of the East out of the governorship in New York, otherwise known as Kathy Hochul, it'll be a big help. This is Alcan saying so long for now, and don't forget to stop. And let's not forget Peanut and Fred and all the other victims of this crazy state of New York.